Welcome to math for Thursday, January 7th. We will be doing work text pages 165, 166, and math reviews page 163, 164. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of review. We're going to review like fractions, equivalent fractions, I should say, and we're going to review mixed numbers that we learned yesterday where you were mixing together a whole number with a fraction. So you have the whole thing of some of them, and then you only have part of another one. All right? Now, first thing I want to do is show you this chart again. Remember, all of these are the same bar. Okay, so this is the whole bar, not divided up at all. This is the bar divided into two pieces, so those would be half. This is the bar divided into three pieces, so that would be thirds. This is the bar divided into four pieces, so that would be fourths. Remember, each one of them is labeled 1/4, just like all the rest, but you would have 1/4, and then if you have two of them, that's 2/4. Three of them would be 3/4. Four of them would be 4/4, or the whole entire bar, or 1. All right? Then this bar is divided into five pieces, so that's fifths. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. All right, this bar is divided into six pieces, so our denominator is 6 because there are 6 pieces, and each one is 1/6. But if you have two, there's 2/6, 3, 3/6, which is the same thing as 1/2. If you were to go up, you could see that 3/6 is the same thing as 4/2. 2/4 was the same thing as 1/2. Any even denominator, you will have something that is the same thing as 1/2. All right, this one is divided into 7 pieces, so your denominator is 7. 1/7, 2/7, 3/7, 4/7, 5/7, 6/7, 7/7, or the whole entire bar. Here we have one divided into 8 pieces, so those are 8. The denominator is 8, and 4/8 would be the same thing as 1/2. Okay, 4/8 over here, 4/8 over here, that's half, and that is also another half. Two halves make a whole, remember? So 4/8 plus 4/8 would be the whole entire thing. All right, the next one is divided into ninths. So you have 9 as your denominator, 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9, 5/9, 6/9, 7/9, 8/9, 9/9. Anytime the denominator is an odd number, you cannot find one that is the same as 1/2 because it cannot be divided in half. Odd numbers cannot be divided evenly in half. All right, and the last one is divided into 10. And if you are thinking clearly, you would know that 5/10 would be the same thing as 1/2. Okay, 5/10, 5 and 5 is 10, so 5/10 is the same thing as 1/2. Okay, now I'm having to use this to do the first problem that you have because I went to go use these and I found that I don't have a ninth. I have thirds, but I don't have any ninths. It skips the ninths. It skips the sevenths. I don't have any ninths to show you, so we're going to have to do it the harder way, and I'm going to show you on here. So you have on your paper, if you look on page 165, you see that whole bar. And then right underneath it, you're going to see this bar, the thirds. All right, so you have the whole bar, and then you have that same bar divided into thirds. And then you're going to have to skip all the way down to this bar, the ninths. All right, because they're asking you what is the same. Okay, so they start with 1/3. So that means they're taking this bar, 1/3 of that whole bar, and they want to know how many ninths is the same. So we're going to have to do this. All you have to do is drop down to the very next one. But put your finger on either side of a third. I'm going to have to drop all the way down here. All right? So you're just going to have to drop down to the next one because your ninths bar is right below your third bar. So put your finger on 1/3 of that bar and drop below to where your ninths are, which is right below the thirds. Mine is way down here. I have to drop all the way down to here. But when you drop from 1/3 down to your ninths, how many ninths is the same thing as 1/3? This much. So that's 1, 2, 3 ninths. So you should put a 3 where the numerator goes. So that says 3 ninths. They already have the ninths. So you just need to put a 3 for the numerator. So 1/3 is equal to 3 ninths. Okay, they are equivalent. All right. Now The next one, they have the blank first. Blank ninths is equal to 2/3. So again, go to your thirds bar, but this time you need to do 2 of them. So 1/3, 2/3. Let's do it from this side. Okay, 1/3 and 2/3. And you're going to have to drop down to your ninths, which is right below your thirds. So dropping down to your ninths, I'm going to have to drop all the way down here. All right, so 2/3, 1/3, and another 1/3 is how many ninths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ninths. All right, so in that empty spot for the first one where it says blank ninths is equal to 2/3, you need to put a 6. 6 ninths. All right, the next one says 3/3. All right, so 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, that is the whole entire bar, right? 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So how many ninths would that be? The whole entire bar would be 9 ninths. Very good. 9 ninths. So that time then you need to put the denominator. They have the numerator 9. You need to put the denominator 9. 3/3 would be the same thing as 9 ninths. Okay, remember we're talking about the same bar. First divided into thirds, and also yours is divided into ninths. Yours is up right underneath the thirds though, isn't it? And you don't have the half, but I can't do it with my little bars because I don't have a ninths bar. All right, the last one says 9 ninths is equal to how many whole? Well, 9 ninths is equal to 1 whole bar. If you have a bar that was cut into 9 pieces like this one, and you have all 9 pieces, then you have the whole bar. Even though it's cut into 9 pieces, you still have the whole bar if you have all 9 pieces. All right, the next section is greater than, less than, or equal to, and you are comparing fractions. Remember, if your denominator is the same, that's the number that's down on the bottom, denominator's down, numerator's up, okay, and the denominator is the equal parts of the whole thing. The numerator is talking about the parts selected. But if your denominator is the same, then just compare the numerator like normal number. All right, so it's 4/6 and 1/6. 4/6 and 1/6. Well, your denominator is definitely the same, so 4 is greater than 1, so 4/6 is going to be greater than 1/6. Very good. All right, the next one, number 6, is 2/4 and 3/4. All right, 4 is your denominator, so you compare the numerator, 2 and 3. 3 is bigger, so gobble it up. 2/4 is less than 3/4. All right, the next one says 1/3 and 3/3. 1/3 and 3/3. All right, so 3 is your denominator, so that's the same. So look at your numerators, 1 and 3. 3 is bigger, gobble it up. So 1/3 is less than 3/3. Number 8, 4/8 and 3/8. All right, your denominator is 8. Both of them have a denominator 8, so compare the 4 to the 3. 4 is greater, so gobble up the 4, and that would be 4/8 is greater than 3/8. All right, now that brings us to a section of mixed numbers. All right, it says color to match. So you're going to need your colored pencils here. If you need to pause the video and get your colored pencils, please do. Do not use crayons. Crayons are not good for when I'm checking a paper. Okay, they draw on the next person's paper that's underneath. So please make sure you're using colored pencils, and do not use regular pencils. You need to use colored pencils because you need. So pause if you need to get to colored pencils, and then start me up again after you get them, because this time you have to color. All right, so let's look. That first mixed number is 1 and 4/6. All right, so that means these are pentagons. No, not pentagons. These are hexagons. Excuse me. They have 6 sides. These are hexagons, and you need to color all of one of them. So remember, we're talking about the whole entire shape. It does not matter that it's divided into 6 pieces. You need to color all 6 pieces on one of those hexagons. Sorry. On one of those hexagons, color all of the pieces, all 6 pieces in the hexagon. That is one whole. That's your whole number. Then the fraction says to color 4/6. So for that second, the one underneath, not the one across from it, the one underneath, you need to color 4. Very good. 4 of them because it says 4, 6. 1, that's the whole hexagon. Then go to the second hexagon, the one below it, and color 4 of the 6 pieces. Make sure you're careful and just color 4. And remember, you keep them together. You don't color 2 over here and 2 over there. You need to keep the 4 together. We talked about this when we first started doing this. So color 4 in a row. It does not matter which 4 in a row you color as long as you color 4 in a row. All right, so that would be 1 and 4, 6. Then you go to the other hexagons on the other side of the circle and you see that they want you to color 2 and 3, 6. So 2 is your whole number, so that means you need to color 2 entire hexagons. The whole entire hexagon. All 6 pieces in 2 of them. So you color 2 entire hexagons. Then you get to the third hexagon and they want you to color 3, 6. So that's 3 of the 6 pieces, right? There's 6 pieces still and you're just going to color 3 of them. 3, 6. Right? And once you color them, you're going to see that you colored 1/2 of it. 3, 6 is the same thing as 1/2. All right, now let's compare them. Well, really, all we have to do is look at the fact that the whole number on one side is just 1 and the whole number on the other side is 2. The whole number of 2 makes that one bigger already. It does not matter what the fraction is. So go ahead and gobble that side up. And it says 1 and 4, 6 is less than 2 and 3, 6. All right, don't forget to put in that less than sign. That's something people have forgotten to do in the past. They got so busy coloring that they forgot to go back and put that greater than, less than, or equal to sign in. So make sure you do put that less than sign. All right, the next one, we're comparing 2 different circles. All right, the first circle says to color 2/3. All right, and that circle is divided into 3 sections, so you're going to color 2 of the 3 sections. All right, and then on the other side, that one has been divided into 6, and you're going to color 3 of the 6. Okay, now 2/3 or 3, 6. You cannot compare them by your numerator because your denominator is not the same. Remember, when your denominator is not the same, you cannot go by the numerator. So what you have to do is look at what you colored. All right, let's look at the 2/3. All right, on mine, they started where they were coloring at the top. Do I have one like that? I do. All right, let's look at this one. All right, so on mine, they colored it like this. They colored these 2, and then this one wouldn't have been colored. So let me pull this one out. All right, so if you were to go straight down from this line, then that would be half of it, wouldn't it? You colored more than half. So that means 2/3 is greater than 3, 6, because if you look at 3, 6, that's half of that circle. 3, 6 is the same thing as 1/2. So 2/3 is more, you've colored more on the one. So if you look at how much you colored more on the one where you colored 2/3 than you did on the one where you colored 3, 6. Remember, the bigger the denominator, the more people you are sharing with, right? The more pieces you're having to cut it into. So the pieces start getting smaller and smaller, okay? So the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. So that's why 2/3, because you only had to cut it into 3 pieces, so the pieces were very large. So 2 of those 3 pieces is still quite large. And on the other side, you were cutting it into 6 pieces, so the pieces are pretty small, and 3 of the 6 pieces is only half of that circle, where 2 out of 3 pieces is more than half of that circle. So 2/3 is greater than 3, 6. Make sure you're looking at what you colored too, not just the numbers. You can't look at the 3 and the 6 and say, oh, they're bigger, that's going to be bigger. No, it's not. Remember, this is a fraction. This is not a whole number. This is 3 out of 6 pieces. And 3 out of 6 pieces is only half of that circle. Whereas the other one, 2 out of 3 pieces, if you look at what you colored, that's more than half of the circle. All right, let's look at the last one. The last one is a rectangle. That first rectangle, they've cut it into 8 pieces, and you're going to color 4 of them. Now, I want you to do something for me. I want you to color the 2 on the top and the 2 right underneath it. Don't color a long strip on the side. There's a reason for this. Please listen to what I'm saying. So I want you to color the first 2 sections at the top and then color the first 2 sections right underneath it. So you've colored 1, 2, 3, 4. If you did it differently, then you need to go back and fix this, because there is a reason I'm having you do it this way. Because when you look at yours, I want you to be able to tell something. All right. All right. This is not exactly accurate because I didn't actually measure it. This is what I'm telling you to do. I want you to color this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And that is 4/8. All right. Now the other side, they tell you to color 1/2. So that means I want you to color the top one. Color the top half. Do you see why I'm having you do this? Okay, if you'd have colored this one and this one and this one, you'd have had this long skinny piece, and then you'd had this fat thing, and you might have said, well, they're not the same. Well, if you'd have taken these 2 and put them beside that one, then you would see that, yes, they are the same. So 4/8 is equal to 1/2. That's why I wanted you to color these 2 and these 2 to make the 4, so that you can see 4/8 is the same thing as 1/2. Because some people color 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they have a hard time realizing that this is the same amount as this. But think about it. If you took these 2 blocks that you colored down here and had put them beside these 2 blocks, then it still would have made that same shape. Okay? So that's what you need to be able to see there. That 4/8 is equal to 1/2. Some of you already knew that because you remember what I said. If the top number is half of the bottom number, it's the same thing as 1/2. 4/8 is the same thing as 1/2. So that's an equal. All right, let's go to the bottom, which is a story problem. Sasha needs 1 1/4 cups of flour for her recipe. Kayla needs 1 1/2 cups of flour for her recipe. Who needs more flour? All right, so you're going to have to color in the little boxes. Now, they're not using a measuring cup. They're using a rectangle, and they divide it into 4 sections because the one girl, Sasha, needs 1 1/4. So you're going to color all of the whole rectangle on the first rectangle because she needs 1 whole cup. Then you go to the second rectangle, and she also needs 1/4. So of that whole cup, you're just doing 1/4 of it. So 1 whole entire rectangle makes 1 whole cup. So color all 4 sections for the 1. That's your 1 whole number. And then for 1/4, go to the other rectangle and color 1 out of 4 pieces. 1 1/4. Then you go to the other side for Kayla, and this one they've divided into halves because her recipe was 1 1/2. So for the 1, you need to color both sections of that rectangle that's divided in halves. Both sections, so you have the whole entire rectangle colored. Then go to the other one and just color 1 of the 2, because 1/2 means you colored 1 out of 2. So now you can see a picture of 1 1/4 for Sasha and 1 1/2 for Kayla. All right, now that you see it, you can see that 1 1/4 is less than 1 1/2. So they're asking you who needs more. So who needed more? Kayla. So bubble in Kayla. Kayla needed more. Okay. 1 1/2 is bigger than 1 1/4. So 1 1/4 is less than 1 1/2. Kayla needed more. All right. As soon as you finish that, turn your paper over again. This time I can use my little bars because I do have 8s. I didn't have 9ths, but I do have 8s. So this will be easier for you to see, except for the fact that my fractions are sideways. Okay? All right, so you've got one whole bar, and then you have fourths, and then you have eighths. Okay? So one whole bar is how many fourths? All right, so that would be this one, the one right underneath it. So how many fourths does it take? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fourths. So you need to put in the numerator a 4. Okay, so make sure you're looking. It's on your paper too. But one whole bar, how many fourths does it take to make the whole bar? 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, 4 fourths. So 4 fourths. All right, and then they're asking you the same thing. One whole bar, how many eighths would it be? The whole bar, how many eighths? 1 eighths, 2 eighths, 3 eighths, 4 eighths, 5 eighths, 6 eighths, 7 eighths, 8 eighths. 8 eighths, so that's number 2. 8 eighths. This time you're putting in the denominator, 8. One whole bar is the same thing as 4 fourths, and the same thing as 8 eighths. All right, now we're going to get a little bit smaller. So if you look at number 3, it says 2 fourths. All right, so that's this much, 2 fourths. So put your finger on either side of 2 fourths, and then drop it down. 2 fourths is the same thing as 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. 2 fourths, same thing as 4 eighths. So that's what you need to do. On your paper, put your finger beside 2 fourths, on either side of 2 fourths, 1 fourth, 2 fourths, and drop it down and see that you are including 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. 2 fourths, same thing as 4 eighths. So that's what you should be putting. In this case, you had to put the denominator 8. They already had the 4. All right. Now they want you to show 6 eighths. So count off 6 eighths. 1 eighth, 2 eighths, 3 eighths, 4 eighths, 5 eighths, 6 eighths. Include that in your fingers, 6 eighths. And you're going to go up and see how many fourths is that. So how many fourths is 6 eighths? You're at 6 eighths. And you go up 2 fourths, and that is 1, 2, 3 fourths. 3 fourths and 6 eighths are the same thing. Whoops. Since we don't even need the whole bar, and it's hard for me to hold it, I'm going to go. There we go. So 6 eighths, 1 eighths, 2 eighths, 1 eighths, 2 eighths, 3 eighths, 4 eighths, 5 eighths, 6 eighths is the same thing as 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths. Okay, does everybody see that? All right, I don't need my whole bar, so I laid it down. It was hard to hold all 3. All right, the next one says 2 something is the same thing as 1 fourth. All right, so there's 1 fourth. They're definitely not talking about 2 wholes. So if this is 1 fourth, just put your finger on either side of 1 fourth. Go down. How many? 2 what? 2 eighths. 2 eighths is the same thing as 1 fourth. All right, does everybody see that? Here's 1 fourth. 2 eighths is the same thing as 1 fourth. If you look at your bar on your paper, you'll see the same thing. So 2 eighths is the same thing as 1 fourth. So you're putting in the denominator 8. All right, moving on to number 6. This time they're asking about 4 eighths. So count off 4 eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. That's this much. 4 eighths is the same thing as how many fourths? The denominator 4 is already there. So how many fourths? 4 eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths is the same thing as 2 fourths. Very good. 2 fourths. So 4 eighths is the same thing as 2 fourths. All right, now we're going to compare fractions. We will be coloring them in, so you do need your colored pencils again. All right, so that first circle, they want you to color 3 6. So color 3 of those 6 pieces. 3 is your numerator telling you the part selected. That's 3 that need to be colored. Whatever color you're coloring it, should be some kind of colored pencil. And then 6, the denominator tells you how many pieces are total. Then the other circle right beside it, they want you to color 5 6. So you're coloring 5 of the 6 pieces. Now you could have compared this one without even drawing a picture, or coloring a picture, I should say, because your denominators are the same. They're both 6. So you could have just said 3 is smaller than 5, so therefore 3 6 is less than 5 6. But they are telling you to color it in, so make sure you color it in. And by the way, if I get to going too fast and you're not done coloring, you can always pause the video and start it up again when you're done. All right, go to the second one. The second one, they are both divided into thirds. So again, you didn't really have to color them to figure it out. You could have figured it out on your own, but they want you to color 2/3 of that first circle. So color 2 out of the 3 pieces. And it doesn't matter which 2 you color, but they just need to color 2 of the 3. And then for the other circle, you're coloring 1/3. So color 1 out of the 3. But again, like I said, you could have told, because their denominators are both 3, you could have just said 2 is greater than 3, so 2/3 is greater than 1/3. And another reminder is don't forget to put in that greater than, less than, or even the equal to sign, because some people get so busy coloring they forget to put that in too. And then that would be points off, because there will be sections like this on the test when we get to it. Or when this paper is checked, it would be marked wrong because you didn't do it. That last 2 circles at number 9, the first one says to color 2 halves. So you're coloring 2 out of 2. So that means you're coloring both. It is a circle. It's divided in half. It tells you to color 2 out of 2. So numerator says color 2, and there are only 2 pieces. So the other circle is just a whole entire circle, and they tell you to color that circle. Color 1 circle. So you're going to color. So now you know they are equal. Very good. 2 halves is the same thing as 1 whole circle. If you have a circle and you cut it in half, but you still have both halves, then you have the whole circle. It's just in 2 pieces, but you still have all of it. And then you have another circle over here, and you never cut it in half. It's just whole. It's the same. All right, now we have 2 rectangles. This is going to be mixed numbers. The first rectangle is divided into 8s. Actually, all of these rectangles are divided into 8s. But the number is 1 5/8. So for the first rectangle, you need to color all of it, because that would be your whole number 1. Color all 8 pieces of that rectangle. Color the whole entire rectangle, all 8 pieces. 1 5/8. All right, then you go to the second rectangle right beside it, and that's your 5/8. So you're going to color 5 of the 8 pieces. 5/8 means you're coloring 5 of the 8 pieces. The 1, that's your whole number, color all 8 pieces. For the second rectangle, color 5 of the 8 pieces. That is 1 whole rectangle and 5 of the 8 pieces of the next rectangle. 1 5/8. All right, once you've done that, you're going to go to the second 2 rectangles, and this one is 1 3/8. So you're going to color all 8 pieces for the first rectangle, and then you're going to color 3 of the 8 pieces for the 3/8. 1 3/8. All right, now if you look at your whole numbers, they're the same. 1 whole rectangle for the first one, 1 whole rectangle for the second one, all 8 pieces. But then for the second rectangle for the first one, you did 5/8, and then for the other one, you did 3/8. 8 is the same. It's your denominator. It's the same for both. So 5 is greater than 3, so 1 5/8 is greater than 1 3/8. Very good. All right, that last little section is just a small section of division. Make sure you do that. If you want to finish doing that and pause the video before you go on to your reviews paper, you need to make sure you do all those. I'm going to have you do those on your own, because that's just a review of division. 3, 4, all of them are 3s and 4s. So you need to know how to count by 3s, how to count by 4s. So go ahead and do all those. But I'm going to go ahead and go on to your other paper. All right. On your second paper, whoops, where's my numbers? There they are. On your second paper, you again are having the whole bar and 4s and 8s, just like we did on the first paper. The whole bar, 4s and 8s. All right. Now, first one says 1/4 is the same thing as how many 8s. So just look at 1/4. How many 8s? 2 8s. Very good. 1/4 is the same thing as 2 8s. Here's 1/4. There's 2 8s. They're the same. So you should put it in the numerator of 2. All right. Then they say 3/4. 3/4. Oh, I didn't do 3/4. There's 3/4. 3/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 is the same thing as how many 8s? 1/8, 2 8s, 3 8s, 4 8s, 5 8s, 6/8. Very good. So 1, 2, 3/4 is the same thing as 6/8. So again, you're putting in the 6, your numerator. All right, now they want you to look at 4/8. So count off 4/8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Have that between your fingers. And how many? 2 what? 2/4. 4/8 is the same thing as 2/4. 4/8, 2/4. Equal. They have 4/8. You're putting 4, the denominator this time. They already have the 2. All right, and then 8/8. The whole entire bar. 8/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8 is the same thing as 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Very good. 4/4. All right, now we're going to compare greater than, less than, or equal to. All right, we still need the bar. I don't know why I put it down. I'm not going to pick up my whole bar this time. I might be able to use some more of my different bars. All right, the first one says 1/2, but I don't have my 1/2 bar out. All right, let's get the 1/2 bar and we're comparing it to 8s. 1/2 is the same thing as 4/8. Very good. 1/2, same thing as 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. Very good. All right, now we're going to do thirds. And we're going to compare 2/3 and 1/3. All right, well there's 2/3 and that's 1/3. That one's easy because denominator was the same on both, right? So 2 is greater than 1. So 2/3 is greater than 1/3. All right, 4/4 and 10/10. I do have a tenths, so 4/4 and 10/10. That means they're the same because you have 10 out of 10 of the whole bar and 4 out of 4 of the whole bar. That just means they were cut into smaller pieces. Same bar. Remember the whole entire bar. You cut it into 4 pieces and then you cut it into 10 pieces. Each serving was much smaller when it was 10/10, but if they are 4/4 and 10/10 are the same. All right, and then fifths. We have 3/5 and we have 4/5. You know what? We don't even need to really compare because your denominator is the same. They're both 5, so 3 is less than 5. So 3/5 would be less than 4/5. All right, now we got to color again. All right, and again, I want to be specific about which 2 you color. All right, so it says to color 2/6. I want you to color 1 on top and 1 on bottom. Up and down. 1 on top, 1 on bottom. Do not color 1 across. You're going to color 1 on top, 1 on bottom. So it makes a long, skinny piece that you colored. Because when you get to the other side, you're having to color a long, skinny piece. And you're coloring 2 out of 3. All right? Now, when you color 2/6, and then you go to the other side and you color 2 out of 3, 2/3, you can see when you only colored one of those, it was the same thing as what you colored for the first one. So 2/6 was the same thing as 1/3. Okay, I could actually show you that with my, I just have to find the 6. There's the thirds. Here's the 6, right? No, that's the 4ths. That's the 10ths. Oh, here's the 6. All right, so 2/3 and 2/6. See 2/6 and see 2/3. See the difference? And see how 2/6 is the same thing as 1/3. 2/6 was the same thing as 1/3. So 2/3 is definitely bigger, so gobble it up. 2/6 is less than 2/3. Remember, it's about how big the denominator is. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. Okay? Alright, next you're going to do mixed numbers. It's a circle. The first 2 circles are divided into 4s. And they want you to color 1 whole circle. So color all 4 pieces for the first circle. 1 whole entire circle, all 4 pieces. Then you get to the second circle and you're coloring 3/4. So that would be 3 out of the 4 pieces. So color 3 out of the 4 pieces. So that's 1 3/4. All right, and then on the other side, you have 2 more circles, and this one is saying to color 1 4/8. So these are divided into 8s. So for the first circle, you're going to color all 8 pieces. All 8 pieces. Okay, so for both of them, you colored 1 whole entire circle. For one of them, you colored 3/4, and for the other one, you colored 4/8. All right, so this is 3/4. This is 4/8. And when you look at what you colored, you can see that your 3/4 is bigger than your 4/8 of the fraction part. The 1 whole circle is the same, but look at your 3/4. You colored more. All right? So 3/4, you colored more than 4/8 was. Okay? So 1 3/4 is greater than 1 4/8. 4/8 is actually half the circle. 3/4 is more than half, isn't it? Okay, now the last one is rectangles, and they're just having you do a fraction. And I want you to color 2/4 of the first rectangle, 2 out of the 4. And for the second one, they want you to color 1/2. So you're coloring 1 out of the 2. When you look at what you colored, what do you see? I hope you said that you see that they are the same, because they are. 2/4 is 1/2. Okay, so they are equal. 2/4 is the same thing as 1/2. All right, very good. Let's brings us to our story problem. Again, you're going to be coloring. All right, so it says Anna made 2 1/2 cups of trail mix. Carla made 2 4/8 cups. Who made more trail mix? All right, so the first circles for Anna are divided in half because they said she made 2 1/2. So you're going to color all of 2 of the circles. That's your whole number, 2. And then for that third circle, you're going to color 1/2. 1 out of the 2 pieces, so that you've colored 2 1/2 for Anna. Okay, so go ahead and do that. And again, I want to remind you, if you need more time to color, then pause the video and color, and then start me up again, because I don't know how long it takes you to color these. All right, so go to Carla. Carla was 2 4/8. So again, you're going to color all of her circles are divided into 8 pieces because it is 2 4/8. So for 2 of her circles, you're going to color all 8 pieces because she had 2 whole entire cups. So color all 8 pieces. But for that third circle, you're going to color 4 out of 8 because it says 2 4/8. So color 4 out of the 8 pieces on that one circle. Now, I did not tell you a certain way to color, but it would have been wise. Let me show you. Sorry, this is taking me a little bit. All right, so if you colored these, this one, sorry, if you colored this one, then it would have been wise to color the 4 on this side. Because guess what? You're seeing that you're coloring half the circle, right? You see that you colored half the circle when you colored 4 out of 8? And then over here, half the circle. So you colored the same amount. So 2 whole and 4/8 and 1/2 is equal. Very good. So whenever they say who made more trail mix, 2 1/2, 2 4/8, who made more? They made the same. That's the answer. They made the same. Okay? Because 2 1/2 and 2 4/8 are the same amount. because 4 is half of 8, right? So 2 1/2 and 2 4/8 is the same. They are the same. All right, when you get to the back, you are doing measurements. You haven't done that in a little bit. That was not too long ago, but you need to pick the best measurement unit for the object. And then at the bottom, you are doing some greater than, less than, or equal to. Do not forget that you are supposed to change one side or the other. So when it says 1 pound equals 16 ounces, above 1 pound, you should tell me how many ounces are in a pound. Now you know it is 16 ounces, so put 16 ounces above it, and then 16 ounces is equal to 16 ounces, therefore 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. But you need to do that for each one. Hopefully remember how many cups are in a pint. 2 cups in a pint, 2 pints in a quart, 4 quarts in a gallon. That's all you need to know, because the first 3 are ounces. On that 2 pounds, you would need to add 16 plus 16. So if you need to do that in the edge of your paper, because you have to know how many pounds, how many ounces are in 2 pounds. Well, that would be easy. 16 plus 16. And then above the 2 pounds, you can say how many that is. So remember, 2 cups in a pint, 2 pints in a quart, 4 quarts in a gallon. And then you number in order from least to greatest: the cup, the quart, the pint, and the gallon. So which one's the smallest? All right. See you for later.